Hello, this is Beanie here. Can you hear me and see my screen? If yes, please let me know in the chat. Thanks a lot for joining. It's a long time since I've spoken to you online in a public session. And I thought that I should speak for a while. I mean, occasionally. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's get started. I think the session will be about 7:40. It's also my way of sharing with my community. I do share quite a fair bit, but now doing lesser work. Lesser work, not because of uh, uh, getting like lazy, but quite a lot of things to do recently. As some of you might know, that I have a new role. I'm actually managing two funds right now. So that's the reason why I get a little bit busy. One is a technology funds, the other is a digital asset funds. All right. Um, Very soon there will be a new disclaimer that I'm gonna show. So let's start with the old disclaimer. All right. So whatever that's being discussed here will not be any financial advice and uh not any recommendation for any investment products. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to update. There are two sessions for this month. One is today, another one is next week. And next week, we're going to do stocks and indexes. This week, I'm going to focus on gold, Forex, crypto, and oil. And I think that oil is something which you are interested in because it move a lot. So the question is whether it's temporary, that we're going to see the high oil prices or what to do, that's the key thing. And we've seen gold not performing well recently. So the key thing is what's up with gold, right? And some of you might not be trading into Forex crypto, but they are all related, linked, very, very linked together. And this will be the four things I'm going to talk about. All right. So everything will be live. So if you do have questions, do let me know so that I can talk about it live. Okay. Of course, then if you do like to join our course, then there are special deals. Not a lot, not as good as last year, but it's still good. So this is me, myself. Do I still look like this? I think so. I had a new haircut. So pretty much got back the same old hairstyle. I don't think I changed much. I think myself. Okay. So yes, do I still exercise in the morning? Yes. Do I still do forex stocks indices? Yes. And then I'm doing also quite a lot of crypto because of the digital assets fund that I'm managing right now. Um, it's starting. Do you hear anything? Yeah. It's starting. So turn on your volume because I'm streaming via Zoom. Should be able to hear that. Uh, can I retire with the portfolio? Yes, I can. Do I want to do that? No, I don't want. Um, I'm still young, so I don't want. I still want to be very active, and this is what I want to do. Okay. At 38 years old, I tried and I thought that is enough. But then at now this age, no, I want to be working. Okay, I want to be active. Okay, so I think that's a different in terms of perspective now. Okay, so I have two courses, which they are online courses and they are a lot of sessions. The seven coaching webinars sort of change already. It gets maybe like six because I changed one of them to do a Saturday review, which I think a lot of you guys like it because it does review into what's up for the whole week. So this is part of like a bit of a review that we're going to talk about, and as well as questions. I do want to get your questions more, so I know what to answer you, or what things that you have questions about. And then, yes, we use a lot of automations to help us. And the key thing that we are using is TAT, okay, which is part of the Top Pro. So it can be used for any trend. I just want to share with you how I trade that for the digital asset. It can be used for any instruments, whether it's gold, oil, and I'm just going to show it to you live. It's predictive. It gives you really the optimal level. It gives you the signal. It draws very nice up arrows and down arrows, and you can screen that. Okay, you can screen it. So I'm going to show you the stocks that were screened, right? So before I start into proper, as in into proper what we are uh, what I'm doing today, let's watch a video which I finally can get it working, and then let's watch a video on 10. Okay, just give me a while. What's my video? Okay, just hang on. Just gonna share this with you for those who are new to us, and then can I just ask whether you can see tabs and hear everything? Sorry, let me just move a bit, right? Oh, you can't hear. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know how to fix the voice. I thought it's being fixed already. Okay, we just see that, okay? So this is something where we built for different profile. Can hear, okay. So we do trade in different time frame, whether it's day or weeks, huh? Yeah. So it's a proprietary setup for myself. Let's not watch advertisement. Okay. All right. So this is a screener. Okay. I think that you can see my screening right now. This is a screener where we can key in on what we want to monitor, whether it is stocks or whether it's Forex or gold or oil. Okay. And I think the key feature is stock screening. A lot of us, we are trading stocks and investing in stocks, so we do not know which one. Um, I mean, as in stocks that you want to pick, right? So it does gives a very good stock screening in terms of the stocks that we want to focus on. Okay. And what I did is I extracted today because just now I didn't have time to extract from um the Singapore stock market because the US stock market not open yet, right? So I just extracted. So these are the scanning that's being picked up. Okay, so that means that we do have a stock list, and then it picked up all these stocks today. So for example, we have, I think interestingly, 1211, which is BYD. BYD hasn't been moving a lot, but today BYD actually moved up about 7%. We can see, for example, Xiaomi also coming lower, but it does have a small little boo that's appearing. Okay, and of course, Tencent, because of the open claw, it had an earlier signal, and then now it came out to have another signal. Yes, you can screen any other exchanges as long as you can put it in. So for example, we monitor Singapore, US, and Hong Kong market. So it relies on the stock list that you inserted. Okay. So it's really on any of the stocks that you want to monitor, or you can just key that in. All right. Okay. Okay, so that's really briefly about TED, but what I do want to share is this is TED, and this is usually how I do that with the students. And the first one that I wanted to do is Go. Okay. So Go is it gets interesting, and all these whatever that I'm going to present, right, will come from TED. Okay. Okay, so if you do not understand, I'll try my best to explain, but whatever that you're going to see on my screen here, they are the TED lines. Okay, so what happened is that TED, right, does produce arrows. Okay, so these are, for example, the leads that I'm monitoring. Okay, and for example, just now we saw 1211, which is BYD, has an signal, and that's because it's had a signal here, which we call this as a large bull, all right, or L bull, and then it's have a it has this huge bar that went above the set of resistance level. Okay. And every time when this happens, like a bullish signal or bearish signal, then we do want to look at it carefully. Okay. So for example, Tencent, like 700, it has a signal, for example, today, like this. So it points to us that, there's a signal here, and it tells us certain things. All right. So this is where the scanning comes in. But what I wanted to do today, it's more into the FX. Okay. And ES is the index, right? Oh yeah. So today I'm not covering the index. I'm just going to cover the goal for this moment here, if you don't mind. All right. So gold, we've seen quite a huge up move towards it, right? Especially this spike here. Okay. Now for TED, what it does, it's had a weekly close, which produces a bearish signal here. It's in terms of wash and rinse, then yes, there was a wash bar here, and then it rinse back down. Okay, and TED has a bearish signal. But what is important, right, was that all along, okay, the levels that TED guided us. Okay, and I think that I've shown that to the community. So first we have this predictive level, which is 5,100, and that's here. And then the second level, which was 5,200, and then the third level, which was the optimal level, because there are two key levels here, and that's on the 5,300 level there, right? What happened is that all these levels are still, or rather the price movement that we see here are still within this down impulse down move. Okay, it's still within it. All right, that means that it has not gotten out of this movement in a way that I think when gold had an explosive movement, it needs to break out of key levels. You see, these are the key levels that was here, and it needs to break out, right? And this was the key level, you know, that was all along hovering. So the fact that gold is right now into just trapped into this level here, right? And into this movement, it just says only one thing. I don't think that we can expect that kind of a huge, fast, quick movement in gold going forward. It's probably going to be a consolidation. It's probably going to be a little bit of a not that glamoring type of movement. It's more into a lower time frame trading, and this is something that I've been saying, all right, for the past few months, that gold, it's going to be trading within this level here. Now, the fact that right now it is not above, that means it's previously it was sitting above all these blue lines and getting supported, right? The fact that it is not right now, that means that we are seeing here just says that there is a high chance, a high possibility that this retracement, that means this temporary retracement, right, has been broken. Okay, has been broken means that we are probably going to see a little bit of a flattish movement, or in fact a downward movement in gold. Okay, because of a few things. Number one, right, if you switch this into a line chart, which is something which I mentioned, right, gold, even though while it's trading within this range, that means the high, this is like a major high point and a major low point. Right now, the current movement here, right, it is trading within that major high low point. Okay, but within that recent consolidation, it's actually been making a higher high. Okay, so this is something that we've seen, and is making a higher low. That means that if this is the low point, this is actually a higher low. And what is a significant change is that recently we've seen this going a lower low. Okay, all right, it went a lower low, and then it went higher, right? It got resisted by the tech level. You see, this was the 5,200 level that was originally predicted, and it got like resisted by the tech level. And from the line chart, you could almost see that this resemble like a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, it resemble a little bit of head and shoulder pattern. So I think that it's quite obvious that if gold doesn't go above this level, which it doesn't move above 5,100, and if it continue to trade less than 5,000, then we might see a a weakness in gold. I mean, at this moment, it's hard to predict where that weakness is likely going to go. But if you look at gold as in the previous price movement, right? It's totally logical for these huge moves that we've seen to have a consolidation, okay? Like consolidation that goes like that, okay? Whether the consolidation is going to break this low or not, it is unsure at this moment, but probably the recent low here that we've seen is a natural target. Okay, uh and I don't think that we're gonna have that huge move in gold that we've seen. Even with the Iran war going on, gold hasn't been seen as an asset to hedge against risk, right? So it seems a little bit different right now, okay? With the Iran war, the stock market isn't really going down that much. It's going down, but it's not going down that much. Gold isn't seen as a hedge for risk. It's more like it's moved up too much already, and the market is just digesting, or the weak players are getting out, and probably it will become a very nice trading range for us. Okay, so few things to take note, few levels to take note, right? Number one is that this current level, which is the recent low in gold here, all right, and as well as it is very, very near to 5,000, because this recent low, right, it's about 4,996. And so far today, right, gold, it's hovering here on a doji. Okay, so this doji means what? This doji means that it is looking at this level, because if it's going to break below it, right, then the head and shoulder pattern, right, which is a reversal pattern, right, which is a bearish reversal pattern, it's going to become more apparent, more obvious. Okay, so that's why it is hovering here. Okay. And of course, if we see that it continues to break down, then what happens is that when it goes up, it becomes an opportunity to move along this downtrend for a downward trade. All right. So for those with TED, what you can do is that you can move to the lower time frame. All right. And the lower time frame would gives you the signals on when you want to take note of a short. For example, the previous sell signal that we had, right, was here. That was the sell signal that we had. And that was around 5,240 plus minus. All right. And then this was the previous buy signal that we had, and it went up, and then now it went down. The key thing is that right now it's a support. All right. But if it does move down and then move up again, then that will again, right, be pointing in terms of the bearish signal, and the bearish signal is something that I want to take note of. Okay, any question here in gold? All right, if you do have questions, do let me know so that I can address them and answer them. Okay, all right. And then if no, then I shall move on to oil. Okay, now this is oil, right? Now this oil, right, I'm using another price feed, which is this spot WTI crude oil. Some of you might have a different price feed from myself, but then the analysis will be the same. Okay, now a few things in oil, and something which I mentioned a lot, and I'm right now actually in the monthly chart. Okay, so what that can do, right, for a lot of people who are not um familiar with it, right? And you do want to get a little bit more familiar because it's really a very useful tool. It's the higher time frame levels, okay? Higher time frame levels, right? You look at this level here, it measures into a month. And look at the start of this line here, it started from here, right? That means that it is measuring into this downward movement here. Okay, and it says that this is a resistance level. RES is a resistance level. The fact that right now when when oil is trading above this level, 86.67, then on the month-to-month basis, it is strong. It says that by trading above 86.67, then this consolidation pattern that we are seeing here will be ending, or would have ended if it traded above, if it closed above. Okay, close above means that at the month close, it must be above 86.67. Okay, ideally it can be closing at $90. If the month close, it can close at $88. That will be considered that this structure, so this downward structure, would be broken. That means that oil has a fundamental shift, okay, on the month-to-month changes. And why is month-to-month changes important? Because on the month level is where the institutions will be looking at. Okay, so we don't look at, and on the institutional levels, we really don't look at too low level of a time frame, because our time frame is a little bit broader. So we do tend to want to use on the higher time frame. Okay, so if it's like trading above 90, for example, at the end of the month, then it means that this downward structure have broken, and fundamentally there is a change in oil. Okay, it could be that even if the Iran war has ended, then the market probably knows that, okay, something has fundamentally changed. I need to pay more attention to oil or something. Okay, so do take note of this level here, which I'm just going to mark it, and I did that for my community. Okay, so the other thing, right, is that on a week to week, price had already closed above it. Okay, and Ted, if you look at one of my video, Ted predicted that it is coming close to this resistance level. Okay, and I gave an explanation how to get this resistance level. All right, like this. Probably we're just going to shift all the way to the highest level here. So it just means a little bit, but I believe that this is the level that the market is looking at, right? But one of another key level which the market is looking, okay, is actually, hang on for a while, it's really this level here, this one, okay? So this is the 95 levels. Why is this level that the market is looking at, right? Actually, there's a little bit of a zone here like that, okay? Because it was a support, it was a resistance. In its spike up, it hit into this level here. And so this would be the key level that the market is looking at, but at the same time, okay, it is also fitting into what Ted is predicting at this moment. Okay, now let me just explain what is this level about, huh? Okay, that means the 95 level to 93 level here. What is this level about? Because in terms of trend, Ted has already probably started a little bit to think that on a weekly level, okay, because in a month, right, there are 4 to 5 weeks, huh? So the first and second week, right, we've seen movement in oil, right? So oil has already moved up. So on a week-to-week level, week-to-week time frame, then Ted has already seen a bit of a bullishness coming in, right? What is this bullishness? There was a trade higher than the previous high. So hence we have the trend bar turning green at this moment. Okay. Now, what Ted says is that as long as it can stay above this level, 93.42, then the new uptrend, okay, the new clue, the new possibility of an up move, it's going to be true. Okay. However, if it does not stay above 93.42, then that up move, right? These up move, the newly established up move, right, is not going to be true. Okay. And we saw that, for example, 95 was that key level that we've seen here, and 93.42 is what Ted is predicting right now. So the key level to watch out for will be really on the 95 to 93, 93 to 95, right? That's the two key, that's the zone that we're looking at. And then the other one will be 86, 82, right? So I'm just going to mark in here, which is this level here, which is the 93.42 level. Okay, and then to move into the lower time frame, which is the day, right, to really talk about it. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you are interested in oil, but it will be very, very interesting because, for example, if later on we're gonna take a look at the VIX of the BTC, all right, and then we're gonna take a look at the comparison between a little bit on next week, right, on the index level for the COT and the VIX, right, and you realize that why am I bringing this up in terms of oil, because because I observe that the market, which is the stock market, it's actually not that bearish, and a lot of signs are pointing that it is just taking a rest right now, and then a lot of shorts are putting in, but the shorts are not realizing their shorts. That means it's not moving down to say that their bearishness, the bearish view of the market is correct. So when the short covering comes in, or when the good news comes in, right, and that's where the shorts will have to cover back, and that's where the market might see a huge movement. Okay, so what are the indications, right, to say that the market is relieved? Okay, I think it's the price of oil. As long as we see that oil is falling lower, then perhaps the only one risk factor that we have here, which is the Iran war, is not going to be present, because oil is not going up. So hence, Iran war has no effect on the market, right? And people and the stock market has no risk anymore in that case, right? So, and this is the reason why I want to watch into oil. And of course that earlier, we do have a signal here for oil, right? On the bullish signal that happens around here. which I covered, and that was pretty much happened in here, and that's formed the head and shoulder pattern, and there was a bullish signal, and that was when I did ad hoc session on Thursday to highlight to you guys that there is a bit of a fundamental shift, and then we can be following, the signal here. Of course, then price reacted very much to the 93 level, the 93.60 level. So in other words, if price doesn't stay above the 93 level, okay, the 93, this level here, right, which is the green line, rather, let me just change this into a blue line. Okay, then it means that the support of oil, it's breaking, okay, and is no longer that bullish on oil, or oil is no longer that strong. Okay, in other words, right, it might give us a little bit of a clue of how the market is viewing the Iran war, or the status of the Iran war. Okay, and this is the reason why actively we are monitoring into oil, but again, that is also an instrument that we are trading as well. Okay, so that's pretty much was what happened on a 1 hour to 4 hour basis. We want to monitor into this level here, which is 93, 36 level, plus minus around this. So I would really think that it's about 93 as the key support level. And of course, then the next one is the 86 level, right? Just very quickly to show you what TED did, right, earlier. So we had a bullish signal. In fact, that we had various signals pointing each time at the low, right? But that the last signal was this one here, which was a bullish signal. What it did, right, and what it told us was that TED, if it's because price closed above the whole cluster of a resistance here, right? And that was where it signified the end of this consolidation. So we are not entering into the consolidation, because consolidation is a period where it becomes very difficult to trade, because you don't really make a lot of money, and then it moves very slowly, and if you experience it, then your stop might be triggered. But what it's important is that with here, then that's why we gotten a little bit more bullish in oil when it moves up, and retrace back here, and that's where it retrace to a set of a strong resistance that's being broken, and off we go. Were we able to predict oil is going up? I don't think so, but what that gave us was a clue that this whole consolidation has broken. Okay, but what we need to monitor right now is this level here, which is a 93 level. Any question? If you have questions on oil and gold, do let me know. Okay, no questions, then I will continue on. Okay, all right. Now, the next one that I want to talk about is BTC. Okay, BTC and Ethereum and Solana. Okay, I won't be going through all, but I just thought that this Ethereum here, okay, and Solana, you find that BTC, even though it's heading higher, but the in terms of percentage, is really Ethereum and is really Solana that is moving much better. Okay, so from this, right, I think that we are probably not seeing the reversal in the not really seeing a reversal yet, right, in the crypto, but more like people are trading it, because you see the lesser price. That means that per unit measurement, right, we have Ethereum as cheaper versus BTC, right, and it's going much more in terms of percentage. That means it's probably very much in a bit of a trading mode at this moment. Okay, so one thing that I've shown to my community is this one here, which is the BVIV, which is the implied volatility of the BTC, right? And something which I think is very, very interesting to let you know. And let me just show this against the BTC prices, okay? So this is VIX of BTC, right? This is VIX of BTC. And what it measures, VIX, it measures the fear factor. That means that how fearful is the market in terms of the price movement, right? And it measures via options. Okay, so as you do know, BTC or Ethereum or Solana, they also have options trading. Okay, so they're options traded. And options is where the institutions go in to hedge or to get their positions. In fact, I am doing a lot of options in the crypto area. So this was a spike, and then this was a spike, and then this was a spike. The only thing about this VIX, right, for BTC is that it doesn't have a long historical data. It's only like this time here we spike and we saw that that was correspond to the low of the BTC, right? And this time it spiked and it sort of correspond to the low of BTC. Okay, and it spiked again in this region, and whether this is going to be the low of BTC, I have no idea, because then the history is only 3 times, but there was really a spike in the BTC, and the low was seen at about 60,000. Right now it's trading about 73,500 already. Okay, so we're gonna just monitor a little bit more, right? But let me just go through the price of Ethereum, because it did move up a little bit more, right? The rest, not because I don't want to take a look at ETC, but then just we take a look at Ethereum here. Okay, now Ethereum has been pretty much flat, okay, in terms of that longish data. But if you take a look at a little bit on what's happening up here, right, in terms of this trend line here, okay, it depends on how you want to draw it. You can just extend it all the way to the low, or you might just want to fit a little bit more in terms of the different points, like this one here. But whatever it is, Ethereum has already dropped from the high to the low about 65%. And we've seen that previously it's moved down by about 80%, and then it rebounded. And then this case here, and it's about 65% in the past. Let me just show it to you. Okay, you see that? That was from the high to the low, about 65%. And then from this point here to this point here is about 65%. Okay, so it's about that 65% duration of price movement. And but again, previously was 80%. All right. In terms of TED, right? In terms of TED, from the higher time frame, it hasn't shown that the week level, right, has reversed up yet. I'm still waiting, because I'm still waiting for the week to close. But from the wash and rinse point of view, so this was the previous low, priced had a wash bar, so that was the bearish bar here. And it hover. And but if it can close back above it, that means it can close above the line that I've drawn, or rather it can close above the set of numbers here. Then Ethereum, it's on showing the sign of bullish wash and rinse. Okay. All right. So again, that pending the week close, right? So there was a question, how do we use that for the day-to-day trading? So we cascade, and this is what I would be teaching you. All right. So for example, at this place here, we do had, or rather I traded into Ethereum when it was here, and I explained why, and it was here, right? And if you have been following me in terms of my trading for those students, there was a TP level that was identified here. And then right now it's hitting into the zone of resistance here. So these are predicted level. That means that these are TED predicted levels, and TED is right now predicting, right? This is the resistance level. Okay. So whatever TED is predicting, right, all predictive levels. Okay. And this is a TP level that happens on a day-to-day basis. Okay. If you have entered, for example, on any signal that happens here. All right. So what we usually do is we cascade lower. All right. And for example, where was the bullish signal? The bullish signal was here. Okay, so that was the previous bullish signal, and it was exactly where I've traded in, right? So in when I was in KL on a business trip, I remember was 2020, not 2020, as in 2020. So I actually long when it was around here, when it retraced back, and then long one more time when it was around here to pick up Ethereum around $2,020. Okay, and then when it moved up, and that was I exited, because it makes sense to exit at that point of time, because then Ethereum resistance was here, right? So if I buy at $2,020 to $30, and then here would be a quick profit. So the whole idea is that what TED does, right, is that TED will monitor for a buy every time after an upburst. So usually when price bursts up, it doesn't make sense to buy when it bursts up, impulse buying, because you see that when it goes up, it will always come down. When it goes up, it will always come down, right? So what TED does is that, whenever it goes up, you will monitor for a chance, right, for us to buy at the bottom. Okay, so this is where the signal will come in. So this was the buy placed when it moves down. Okay, so just remember, always remember, when it goes up, we wait for price to come down to get a reasonable, corrected, optimal price. You don't want to pay too expensive for it, right? So same thing, what I did was I traded inside here again after I got out, and then because there's a TP here, right, I actually got out first. But again, that it's also hitting into the zone of a higher time frame resistance already. So same thing, I'll be watching to see whether it can come down again. All right. And then, of course, the predicted level right now is this level here. Okay, so this is the latest predicted level. All right, because why? It is making a higher high like this. Okay, higher high, high. Okay, and then here, right, you see it's making a higher low. So yes, there are signs of it showing a temporary uptrend. Okay, and again, that, as I said, I do want to let it come back down here, so that I would be looking for whether there's any bullish signal from 10, right? But again, if on the week-to-week basis, right, it can close above this level, which is this 2,250 level, all right, then probably Ethereum has shown some sign of a bullishness here. Okay, but I'll be trading that in the lower time frame to see whether it can come back down here. Okay, any question? So I'm just only explaining of in terms of Ethereum, because partly, it's had the one of the larger gain today. But BTC is also showing similar trend or similar movement, right? You see BTC is right now into the key resistance. Okay, what is this key resistance about, right? Because BTC has actually been going in a downtrend like that, right? So what Ted is predicting is that all this would be the resistance level, including 77 $200, is the resistance level. But can we trade in the lower time frame here to here? Then definitely yes, because we do have a signal again, right, in BTC at this level here, and that's where like what I mentioned in Ethereum, they have the same signal. It went up, and then we just have to wait for the retracement, and then wait for the signal, and then when it goes up, we just have to collect the money. Okay, and this is how I use TED for the day trading, okay, on the 4 hour. I pretty much very much love the 4 hour, but do take note that if the BTC get resisted here, all right, then it might just repeat the same cycle as this one, because I'm seeing that it's a bit of a similar pattern, but not to reject that previously we've seen once resistant, twice resistant, 1 and 2, right? And after that, it broke that resistance. This is the third time, right? And then before it finally plunged. Okay, so we had a bearish signal here, right? So I'm not rejecting that this could be the first resistance, second resistance, and then it just moved up, hit to this major resistance again, and then move back down. Okay, so I'm not sure. I think that we really need to update, and that's the reason why I'm constantly updating with my community. And this is how we train them on how to use all this and how to trade all this. Okay. So again, pretty much BTC is really near the high already. We see whether this resistance can be broken or it's going to hold as a resistance. Okay. Any questions on BTC or Ethereum? All good. You haven't had any questions in to ask me in gold and oil as well. Okay, very good. All right. If no question, I'm just going to move on to the FX. Okay, any particular FX pair that you want me to cover? Let me know when I'm covering this, okay? All right. So I just thought that I want to go to the DXY, and then this is the DXY. DXY looks a little bit complicated with a lot of charts here. Okay, let me just do it. Just hang on for a while. Gold versus GLD. Why would it cover gold versus GLD? Or just GLD? Because I covered gold earlier as the start. Okay, I'm just going to talk about the dollar index, huh? The dollar index is it's one of the very important index that we are using in terms of FX. And it's not the first time that I mentioned about dollar index, because there are few ways to look at the dollar index. And I think that my community heard me so many times that they might be a little bit bored with me. Okay, so this is the trend line. Okay, but trend line is a little bit subjective, which is something that I don't really like. So what I'm doing now, right, is I'm using the top, because the top had already formed, right, to draw the bottom. Okay, this is the bottom that I'm drawing right now. That means I'm using the top to predict the bottom. Okay, and I shift this to the middle line here like that. And then that is the prediction of the bottom here. So depending on how we draw the line, like for example, I can just shift a little bit like that, right? And then like that, huh? So if I draw the line to touch this point here, fit that nicely, then pretty much it just says that it's being supported. Okay. All right. So dollar index is being supported. It's not that bearish. Of course, you can say that, okay, hey, Billy, because the US war on US and Iran war, Trump probably cheated, and then now all the money flowing to US because it's one of the safer asset right now, right? Okay, fine, I accept that. But in my opinion, previously I already said in my session, okay, that it has already moved down like 14%. And from here, right, it's moved down by 16%. It's around that range that dollar should rebound. Okay, so this was the argument earlier, much earlier, probably last year, around I think September was what I've said. Now, there is still a level that dollar has to clear. And it's very important to watch the dollar. Why is that so, right? As I said, it's important to watch the oil. It's also important to watch the dollar. So, if the market perceived risk, that means that the market perceived that everything is still risky, they're going to flow the money into US dollar, correct? And hence the dollar index will be moving up. So if we see that, for example, the dollar index breaks above this level here. Okay, what am I drawing this level? This level is a little bit difficult to draw because in our earlier prediction we did have 100.25, right? So 100.25 was something that I asked the community to take note. But the blue line that I'm drawing here, right, you can see very clearly it was a historical level, right? And it has been touching this zone, right, for a while. Okay, so it is definitely a key level. It also means that if at any one point of time we see that there is a week closed, okay, or there is a month close, all right, so this 2 time frame only, not a day, right, but a week or a month above very clearly 101. Okay, now why do I say 101, right? Because I think that there is a need to give it a little bit of buffer because the top of the line right now is 105, 100.5, right? So if you give it a little buffer at 101, then there is a successful close. So what I need, right, to see is on the week close and the month close that we are seeing a close, okay, above 101, and then retrace back down to test it as support. All right. So when this happens, then I'm pretty much convinced, okay, that the market is viewing the entire situation as very risky. But if it doesn't, if it doesn't close above it and then fall back down, then okay, then like what I said, oil is probably going to be down, money is not going to flow into the US, and then everything is going to be rosy again, except for your petrol, your pump prices, okay, it's still going to be high, right? But the market is going to tell us a different thing. Okay, now then, however, if you see that for TED, right, TED is marking in a bullish signal here on the day-to-day basis. Okay, now why is that so? Because there is this downtrend that is showing here. Okay, all right, and then by trading above this 99.6, it says that this temporary downward movement is gone. So again, that what I need to do is, even though there is a resistance here, even though we see a resistance here, right, but if it's going to hover here, okay, and doesn't move down, then there is a higher chance for it to go up. Okay, so again, that this is the immediate resistance, and then this is the immediate support. Right, so I repeat, 99.6 is the immediate support, okay, because that has been broken, and then the 101, because we know that the level is 100.5, but I do want to give it a bit of a buffer, all right, and that level is something where I want to closely monitor, because then it's going to tell us that the money is going to continue to flow in the US dollar. Okay, and that is the very important of the marker of the key risk in the market. Okay, Ken? All right, so with this, let's check out the dollar versus Seng. I mean, for dollar versus Seng, right? You know, okay, let's talk about the higher time frame thing, right? And so this was the bearish move, and what this means, okay, was that the dollar Seng has been actually hovering down and then going up. Like in a typical downtrend, we have a high, we have a lower high, and then we have this as a lower low, and then this one as a slight lower low, right? So what this means is this structure, okay, has been broken already. Okay, and price is retracing to this level here as an immediate resistance because it was a support and the support was broken. Okay. However, right, because this is a lower low and the trend bar has already turned bearish. What Ted is predicting at this moment is that this is the optimal resistance level 1.2982. Now, if this level, if price move to this level here, all right, and then this is the level that price must not close above. If it's closed above, then it means that the downtrend of dollar Seng will not be true anymore. Okay, so at this moment, it is still being resisted by the first level here, and then the second level, which is the ultimate level here, 1.2982, which is essentially about 1.3, right? Would be the resistance level of dollar Seng. If it doesn't clear above 1.3, then it is still a downtrend. Of course, then Ted predicted the long-term target profit as 1.20. Okay, we just want to know whether it can come true, right? So 1.20 is, of course, logical line away, isn't it? Because this is the recent low. All right. But as far as I'm concerned, this is going to be a very strong resistance level like that. Okay, so this whole chunk here, right, it's going to be a strong historical level, a support level that turns into a resistance level. At the same time, we have a tech predicted level here. Okay, so that means that the whole chunk here, right, is going to be very, very strong in resistance. Okay, hope that this helped. And then you are talking about the yen pairs, and yen pairs was something that I've been talking about. I've been sharing, and I started off with dollar yen. All right. Since last year, I was bullish on the yen pairs. That means to continue to short into Japanese yen. In fact, that I was joking each time that we should go Japan and Japan and Japan because of the currency. Okay, so if you take a look at dollar versus yen, right? I think the driver here is really to choose a good first currency. First currency means that whether you want to pair the yen with the dollar or with the Aussie or with euro, etc. What happened is that for dollar yen, there was this up bull here above this green line near to the high, which essentially means a very bullish signal for us. Okay. I think that we traded on this bearish bullish signal many times when, for example, when Google was 180. I talk about it, and Google is right now at 300 already. We do have Kappa at that point of time was $8. $8, right? Kappa was 12 right now. So this was that red line, right, that we traded many times. Okay. So it is near to the high. All right. But even if it's retraced back to the red line here, and it does show support, it just means that you just have to watch out for that support along this level. Okay, so this is the resistance that was broken and right now became a support level. Okay. I do not know what you want to update in terms of dollar yen, but in terms of pattern or a longer term, right? It does looks like a cup and a handle pattern. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's the dollar yen and then Aussie yen. So again, as I mentioned, yen is still my best trade so far. That means to short into the yen, and it's positive swap. All right. So it's one of those low-hanging fruits last year and this year also. I've been to let you guys remember, I'm talking about going to Japan and keep going to Japan, and a lot of you guys are going to Japan, right? And I know that who's going to Japan, by the way? I'm going to Hokkaido in August with my friends. So so a lot of people ask me, are we going to China? I said, no, I'm actually short in terms of travel China already. Not short China, but in terms of travel, short China travel. But Japan, I'm still long in. Okay. So Aussie yen, it's a typical trending trade. I mean, as far as what I'm concerned, it is above the blue lines here. It's still above it. It has been above it. It has been trading very well above it. For example, I mean, if I just do a bit of a rollback for you, like for example, I think that I covered it when it was here. Okay, you see, this was that last zone. This was the further zone, right? 106. This was the last zone, predicted zone, right? I'm doing a rollback, doing a replay, right? So this was what happened and what tech was telling us. Okay, so if you go to the lower time frame, and what we need to do is we just need to find a bullish signal along here, right, to give us that trade. Okay, in fact, after this, right, you see Ted had a bullish signal. It came so fast. Let me just do it again. I knew about it because I think in one of my lesson, I mentioned about it, and then I traded it. You see, it was here, right? It moved a little bit, right? So that was that bullish signal. Okay, so this is how we use on that intra time frame. The day already, we had a support level here. Okay. And I think if I'm not wrong, apart from the yen trade, that was also the time that I mentioned about the Nikkei 225 trade. Okay, the long Nikkei 225, the same period. All right. And then, you go to the 4 hour, you see that you just have to wait for that bullish signal that happens here. Okay, so that was that bullish signal, and then off it goes. Okay, I'm not trying to say that trading is so simple just by waiting for a signal and the TP is hit, right? But in order to save time, then we do want to know very clearly what is the trend, what is the level. Okay, what is the trend, what is the level, and then the alert which is being sent to us, right, monitored by Ted in TradingView, will give us that entry, which is that trigger. And this is very important for people who are busy. Okay. So let me just stop the replay, right? So that was the trade at that point of time. And I think that Aussie yen is repeating itself. So we have the zone of support here. Then we just have to ask, right? You go to a lower time frame. Is there any animal here? Is there any bullish signal here, right? If there is, then if there isn't, we just have to wait, because then it just means that tech didn't manage to spot that bullish signal yet. It's not here yet, so we just have to wait. Okay, but I think it is still very much an uptrend. Okay, and I just wanted to share with you. This is Nikkei 225. At that point of time, I think Nikkei 225 was here. Okay, it was around here, if I'm not wrong. That we had the bullish signal. Okay. Wee Hong, I think that we want to clear this in my top pro session on Wednesday because the lower time frame trigger, which is the animal, which is the up bull or L bull, right? Is the lower time frame trigger that tell us that the entry is possible. But still, right, we have to do it we still have to fit it to the higher time frame, which is the day. Okay. So I would really want to tackle this during the top pro session. But the reason why I'm showing Nikkei 225, it's also because that I think earlier I mentioned Nikkei might be bearish, but again that we have to look at the lower time frame movement. So right now that Nikkei is still trading above the monthly level, this one here, 53761. In the day, right, it's at the support level, but we still have the pending this one, right? But at least it is a distance away. That means the current price, right, is a distance away from this resistance. So if we have a signal here, okay, then we can trade in terms of the space. So this is something that we can do, right? So same thing. You start to see that, right? Same thing, right? We have to go to a lower time frame to point to an entry in the lower time frame. Okay, so lower time frame, it's where the 4 hour or 1 hour shows. All right. Okay, so this is the reason why I want to show a Nikkei 225. Okay, so I'll be covering indexes next week. Hopefully, the prices hasn't moved yet. But do you have any questions in gold, oil, crypto, and the FX? If you do have questions, please let me know. All right. Otherwise, I come to the end of my session. So I just like to show a little bit on what we have here. I have to be very careful on what I'm showing because a lot of promotions has gone already, no more already. Okay, so this is the current promotion that we have. As you know, the top pro course is right now selling at $3,000. If you ask me whether $3,000 is expensive, I don't think so, because the 3,000 we cover a lot, right? And recently, I pointed one stocks, which is oil tech, when it was at about 70 cents. As of today, it's trading at 85. The highest is 90 cents. Okay. When oil tech happens, let me just show it to you. It's all into the same scanning, and not only oil tech, but we do have a lot of different other stocks that I've covered. This one here. Okay, so oil tech, it's here. All right, and that was where it went to say that this consolidation is over. All right, and then this was the signal here, right? And of course, it retraced all the way back down, and then it hit into the resistance I talk about. All right. And we traded also a lot on Wilma was one of them. Wilma, the bullish signal was here. All right. And then what it did was a typical, it goes down, hit into the whole zone, and then it went up. Okay, Wilma also was something that I covered, and it says that this whole downtrend is broken. Okay, so there's a lot more that I did, and I also cannot remember which one. So it was Kappa. Okay, Kappa. The previous bullish signal was here, so that was Kappa. It went all the way there, and then right now it's being supported by here. Okay. Unfortunately, there's no trial for that because what we emphasize more, right, is also the training. Or that means that we have to teach you how to train. So it's not like, for example, you take it and you know immediately will know it. So it's a whole package. So there is no trial for that. Last year we do have a cashback deal. But this year totally don't have already. That's why you see this part are all empty. Last year we still flashing this one. Oh, sorry, don't have. I actually block it, hide it. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about the deal here. So we have the TED strategy. So this is a strategy which is going to be very, very different. It applies to stocks, to FX, to gold, to oil. We trade almost every single instruments out there. There's a complimentary 12 months top pro lesson, which is a support, especially to support you on the use of TED. So we are here to stay. We don't just like give you a support of 3 months. We give you a support of 12 months to really make sure that you know how to do that. We also have the 12 months hand holding. That means apart from a Wednesday session, we also have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a Saturday session. Wow, Except for Friday, we are not working, every day we have a hand holding session for you to give you a view on what's happening into the index lah, what's happening in the FX lah, what's happening in oil lah, whatever, what we need to take note of lah. So that is a lot of support, all right? And then we have a complimentary 12 months of TAD. That means that including in the $3,000 is a 12 months of TAD. Okay, so I believe that these are super, super good value already. All right. You could see the structure here that we are really interested to make sure you know. Okay. And because it's a strategy, that is only a support tool for us. There's a whole lot of training available, and we are only selling this for 3,000. Okay. Along with this, yes, there is a promotion, or rather take the promotion while it's still available. And this is always what I've said. So last year, I told the students that we're going to increase the price, and then now is the new increased price, and we're going to remove the cashback, and the cashback has been removed. And I can only say that if you see any promotion out there, you better grab it, because then the price can only increase, the promotion can only decrease. Okay, so there is this extra 6 months of TAT if you pay via PayNow or internet banking. Basically, you pay via cash, and then we pass the saving to you, and then you have to do it before 30th of March. All right. If you are interested to know more, then you can join me next session, which is next week, where I cover stocks, where I cover on Hong Kong indexes. And Hong Kong indexes I've already covered. I already talk about why the Hang Seng Tech is going to reverse. And today we've seen Xiaomi heading higher. We've seen BYD actually going higher, because these two are the laggards. What we really need to see is we need to see, for example, Tencent having good earnings, and Baba having good earnings, and all the key tech stocks, right, having good earnings. I'll give you a bit of a preview on HS Tech, because my students will know what I've said about HS Tech. So do scan this QR code, or you just go here to register. Very important. Do it fast if you want to get the deal. Okay, so last one. All right, last one, HS Tech. Okay, let me just show you HS Tech. Where's my HS Tech? Here we go. So this is HS Tech, huh? And I want to show you very, very fascinating stuff. Okay, let me just roll back, huh? Okay, what TED is capable of is an prediction. That means that it is able to predict levels. Okay, so there are these two blue lines here, and they are all support levels. Okay, meaning that at this point of time, when the price was here, we are able to predict that 4816 is the support level of TAT, of Hang Seng TAT. Okay, that means that if this first blue line is broken, forget of anything in between. You only want to watch out for this level here. And that's as easy as that, because the Hang Seng TAT is due uptrend. All right, but in uptrend, it doesn't mean that it cannot drop, because if it drop, right, then people can buy it cheap. So there's only two levels that are meaningful for us. The first level is this one, and then the second level is this one. Anything in between that, we are not interested. All right, so what happened is this right now, right, as I roll fast, and then you see that's broken. All right, you see this level here, right? It's fixed here, okay? And you see how it rebounded from here. Okay, so this is what Hang Seng Tech is doing, and this is what TED is doing, right? Okay. Yes, okay, silver, quick one. Silver, I didn't update, right? Because I see that as the same as gold. Okay, and that's why I didn't update. Silver is the same. It's also within here and here. All right, and the only thing, right, is that I am not too how do I say, I am not too Personally, I trade more gold than silver. I prefer gold as silver than silver. I I mean, it's the same as gold lah, huh? It is at the support level. All right. It is within this range here. But for people who are bearish, then this is a predicted target level, and then that's the level here, right? Um, I have not much of a comment on silver, actually. Yeah, that's why I didn't cover silver. I thought gold is a little bit more interesting. It will be the same, this support level must not be broken. If it's broken, then, it's probably going to go lower. But even if it doesn't, if it goes up, here will be the key resistance level. So what I think it's important is to know that this is the resistance level, even if silver is going to go up, unless silver is going to break this level here. Otherwise, it's going to follow this downtrend like that. Okay. All right. So I think I come to the end of what I want to cover. I'm just going to flash this again. In any case, that as I said, I'm not going to hard sell you guys. What is good is good. What is not good is not good. So I also don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, my role is to support the community. There will be a lot more things that's coming up. So it's better to get into our program fast and first, because earlier the other people got in at half price, okay, and the price can only be going up and not down, okay, all right. Of course, it's not only about the price, it's also about the trades that we're going to talk about. It's also about learning from us, etc., etc. Okay. So just gonna flash this, and if you do have any questions, let me know. Any questions? If not, I'm just gonna go off already. No questions? Any questions? No questions? Then I do hope that those who are here give this streaming love, a light, so that more people can watch this. Okay? Shall we do that love and light first? Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. No other questions. I would just end the session. If you do have questions, you can contact us. Let me just flash our contact. That's our contact here. Here we go. All right. So that's the contact. You can contact us via our Telegram, email, or WhatsApp, etc. Okay. Thanks a lot. I will see you next week. Okay. Remember to join the next week's session. All right. We will send details to you. Bye bye.